welcome back to our real estate morning show. It is Thursday, the morning after Halloween.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the kids out there that snuck in a piece of candy before breakfast. If we had been home last night to give candy out to the kids, we weren't here because we had our volleyball or whatever.
Yeah.
But I totally would have had, if there was leftover candy, I would have woken up and unashamedly eaten a piece of candy.
Yeah.
Before breakfast.
I'm pretty sure you eat more than the kids when you're giving it out. So.
Yeah, 100%. I'm sure they miss us though, because when we do give out candy, I literally just take the big bowl of it. It's like, everybody grab something, and then they all grab, and eventually then we're out of candy before the end of the night, and then I send you to the door to tell them that we don't have any candy left.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to be the one to break their little hearts.
Yeah. Seems fair.
Yeah.
Seems fair.
Anyway, so we have a nice show for you today. We're going to keep it kind of Halloween themed.
Yep.
And why don't you start? You had a top list of reasons to list your home on Halloween?
Yeah. So basically,
fantastic.
I found it's a blog post. It's by a guy named Evan Roberts from TorontoStories.com.
Funny guy, this Evan.
He is very funny, and it's a great blog. Tons of information there. But basically, it's a hilarious take on 5 reasons to list your home on Halloween night.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just gonna read.
So you missed it already, but I mean.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's fun.
We'll get you. It's funny regardless.
Next year. But okay, so I'm just gonna read it because it's written very well.
Perfect.
The first one, the reason number 1 is purposeful neglect.
It's a good heading.
What that means is cleaning and staging for an open house is always a stressful venture. So why bother when you can simply pretend that you're in Halloween mode? Those cobwebs on the wall are intentional. The flickering porch light, the creepy overgrown garden, you're just a fun neighbor.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Man,
Good excuses.
funny.
I mean, intentional reasons.
It makes sense.
Yep.
You don't have to clean as much. Number 2, the importance of crowd size.
Okay.
So he says nothing makes a human want to buy a house more than the possibility that other humans want to buy the same house. It's human nature. So even if those humans are children, and even if they're dressed in a manner unbefitting of a potential home buyer, a bunch of bodies clamoring to get to your front door can only help generate interest.
Yeah, exactly. You want a bidding war.
Yeah.
Halloween. Have all the candy.
Doesn't matter if they're kids. The third one is sounds good to me. So, do your floorboards creak? My bathroom pipes wail and moan like they've just lost a loved one. But that matters not on All Hallows Eve. All that your buyers will hear is holiday spirit, and all that you will hear is the sweet sound of a bidding war. Oh, man. Number 4 is scare tactics. Everything's a little freaky on Halloween. Kids have mustaches, strangers peddle candy, rogue bands of teenagers smash helpless pumpkins. So really, what's so scary about pricing your house a couple $100,000 above market value? And finally, it's been a real treat. Lastly, and most importantly, nothing sweetens a real estate deal like a quick closing date and a couple packs of Starburst.
Amazing. I like all the posts that we used to see, like free pizza with the deal and stuff like that. Yeah, it's way better.
I swear I saw
some
one
Swedish
for
fairies.
tacos. I think
tacos. That's right.
Tacos was a thing for a while there. Yeah.
I would totally buy a house for some tacos, hands down.
You probably would
hands
actually.
Down.
Yeah, so I thought that was cute. It's funny, right? It's a good take on Halloween. Obviously, it's probably not the best time to list your house, but it's funny.
It's fun, yeah. And you know what? We looked at some staging stuff for Halloween, and a lot of it's pretty redundant. It's all about the warm colors and that. But there is something nice about that color scheme that comes with Halloween. It is kind of...
It's cozy.
It's cozy, yeah.
It's fall colors, right?
The scary stuff, not so much.
But I mean, if you are on the market in the fall, then, taking advantage of those warm colors and the thicker blankets and pillows and making the house feel cozy and, the cinnamon smells and the pumpkin smells and stuff, like, that does work.
That does work.
It is.
100%.
It is a true thing, so.
Yeah. And so let's jump on to the next one. And this is one that you found again. I think just the title of it alone it captured me. So why don't you jump right into it?
Yeah. So my next one, the title of this one is Swedish Death Cleaning is the new lively way to organize your home. So just in keeping with the Halloween trend.
Yeah.
But what this actually is, it is a real thing. And it is actually a method for cleaning your home. So it's actually called Swedish Death Cleaning. The Swedish word for it, I've been trying to figure out how to pronounce this, is dostadning, I think is how you say it. Excuse the accent. But it's a combination of the Swedish words death and cleaning. And there's actually a book. There's a book that this is based on. It's for sale. It's called The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning by Margareta Magnusson. So you can actually get your hands on a copy of this. The concept behind it is not quite as morbid as the
No,
name.
no, I read through this as well, and
yeah.
it's not. It's actually just a lot of really good tips.
It is a lot of good tips, and if you've read like The Joy of Cleaning, which was really big for a while, I think it was called The Joy of Cleaning, or The Joy of Tidying Up, I think it was. There's a little reference to that in here as well. Basically, what the concept of the book actually is that essentially, there's no real good way to say this, but basically everyone's going to die, right? That's kind of where it starts off. And so the idea is as we get older and we collect a lot of items, we tend to have more stuff. Yeah. So the point is to think about, if you were to die, what would you want your family to have to deal with cleaning up? Yeah. So how much stuff do you actually want them to have to go through? And it's tips on how to kind of purge based on that theory. Yeah. So the first one that they give you, and I'll read through the main ones that I emphasize. The first one is talking to your friends and family. So what a lot of people tend to do, very common thing, is you keep things because you think someone's going to want it or someone's going to like it. And like we've all been given that thing that, a family member's like, oh, I've saved this for you because you loved it when you were a kid. And you're like,
you're not as attached to it as they were, right?
Exactly, or that they were to the memory. Yeah. And so what they suggest is the first thing you should do is, if you are saving items, talk to the people you're saving them for and see if they actually want them.
Or can use them, because that's the other thing. Sometimes people can't, they're like, I love that table, but it doesn't fit in my condo, it doesn't fit in my house.
Exactly, right. And so, if you have a garage with a bunch of furniture stored in the garage, go through that with them and see, does anyone want any of it? And if not, donate it or have a garage sale or do whatever you're going to do, but just get rid of it. And they do suggest, if you are emotionally attached to something, and so that's why you've been keeping it, that you take a minute, you kind of reflect fondly on the memory of why it is important to you, and then let it go. Yeah. Because it plays no purpose anymore, and just keep that memory, right? Yeah. So that's the main one. Talk to everybody. Make sure that you know what
find out what you should be keeping and what you shouldn't be.
Yeah, exactly. And then the second one is, don't think, so this is kind of a tie into the, the joy of tidying up. What they say, their theory is, don't think of it as if it gives you joy or not, because that's kind of the theory behind the joy of tidying up, but more about what is the worth of the item. So something that's even very small might be extremely sentimental. So it's not necessarily always about, in this theory, if it gives you joy, but it is about what is the value of it to you, what value does it have, and you apply a value to it. And if the value is pretty minimal, see if anyone wants it, and if not, get rid of it. If it has a high value to you, you can have one box for sentimental items, is what they say. And if it's not scannable and being able to put it into a soft copy, you can put it in that box. And then once that box is full, you're not allowed to keep any more stuff, so you have to make more room or figure out a way to make soft copies of things, and then get rid of everything else. Gotcha. So applying that value is a big factor there in helping you make those decisions. The third one is start big and end small. So what they mean by this is, when you're going through a whole house, which is extremely overwhelming, especially if there's a lot of stuff, start with the biggest items. So start with the furniture, start with the closets and the clothes, start with the stuff in the garage, the bikes, things like that, and get rid of all of those big stuff, because it's going to have the biggest impact the fastest. And it's a lot easier to get rid of those larger items, because the smaller ones tend to be pictures and books and memories, so there's a lot more of an emotional process there than there would be maybe to
well, and it's also it's taking longer to get the house clean anyway. Like the little ones, you could spend hours and make no dent in the house whatsoever.
Exactly, whereas the big stuff, do that first and you automatically get a result as well, which is a nice
makes
thing.
Sense. Gets you going.
And then the fourth one I've already referenced is keep one box of mementos. So that's the little stuff, your teddy bear from when you were a kid or whatever, something that really means something to you and has what you would designate as the highest level of worth. That goes in the box. And like I said, we have so many pictures and photo albums and wedding invitations and thank you cards and stuff that we want to keep. But what they recommend is just scan it, make a soft copy of it, back it up on an external hard drive, and then get rid of the hard copies so that you're not storing all this stuff, but you still have it if you did want to reminisce or go through it. So kind of a good tip, easier to do nowadays with all of our access to technology and all that sort of stuff. And the final one is appreciate and don't accumulate. So what that means is that don't buy everything. Like just because you think it's pretty or you like it, it doesn't mean you have to own it. Hold it, appreciate it, admire it, and then put it down and walk away. Let it go. You don't need a lot of stuff, right? We do that to make ourselves feel better sometimes. Usually with this process, in Sweden at least, people tend to start doing this in their 60s. They start to kind of go through this system, this process, and start talking to the family members. They recommend, obviously, at any point you can do this. The general tips are, if you can no longer close the door, into a closet. If you can't close the drawer, use this
Yeah.
method, go through it, clear it out, because you're just accumulating things. And if you start doing this, the earlier the better, that you can actually always keep the things around you that you love, that make you happy and that have value to you, and stop collecting all the clutter. So
We need to do this in our spare bedroom closet.
we sure do, yeah.
Cool. Well, that's good. It was definitely beneficial. I love the title the best, really. Just
I mean,
Swedish death cleaning
the
for Halloween
theory
was fantastic.
the theory is a lot nicer than the actual title. And obviously, the general concept is do this before you die. That's kind of the point of it, so your family doesn't have to deal with it. Yeah.
I think there was actually, before we move on, there was one paragraph in this article that I read that just hit me, like, I could relate to it so much. And here's the quote. Rather than moving junk from one garage to another, take the time to go through emotional items as a family and communally agree on what has worth and what doesn't. So my dad loves storing stuff, and he happens to have a couple of garages, and he's got a running joke of like, so it goes, this is like step one is in this garage, and then this garage, but once it gets to the third garage, then it's done. You're not seeing it again. And so it's easy to make fun of, but at the same point, he always has something when I need it.
It's true.
But if I had to go through and clean all those garages when he's gone, I'm going to be very unhappy. So,
exactly.
Paul, you got to start cleaning those garages.
And that's a point that they make as well. It's that your family, when they're left with all of that stuff, it's a bad memory, not a good memory. And the idea, the emotional idea behind it is leave them with a good memory. Leave them with the things they really wanted, the things that were meaningful to them, not with a mess that they just have to throw out.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. All right, so final one for the day. If I just end on something fun, because that time of year you start seeing all these amazing costumes. Kids are dressing up, parents are dressing up, everybody's dressing up, and there is one part of dress up that we don't talk about enough, and it's houses get to dress up as well. Yeah. And so last night I was helping just at a closing. We were exchanging some keys on the property for a rental, and the neighbor's house was fantastic. It was just amazing, and actually my client was like, oh, this is great. Like, I've got a cool guy next door to hang out with, They've clearly got kids. We've got kids. This is perfect. And I was like, yeah, that's right. But there are some times where you look at a house and you're like, man, I don't know if I want that guy as a neighbor. Yeah. Like, when I think about Christmas time, I love seeing everybody's houses decorated up, but there's that one guy that leaves their lights on all night and it's just flashing. It's like blinking the whole night and it's coming through your house. Yeah. That's not the neighbor.
Well, we have a neighbor like that.
He's right over there.
He's across the street, and he's got those like LED things, and it's like a strobe light in the window all the time.
Because he does, it's around his whole garage, right? So it's this like straight Star Wars laser beam of Christmas light coming at you.
Anyway, needless to say, we comment on it every year.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm gonna throw up a few pictures of just really cool houses that have been done up. I got one here where these guys really went above and beyond. They got a Grim Reaper coming over the top of the house, really reaching the arm in there. Yeah. I think that's really neat. That's a lot more work though. That looks, some engineering was involved with this one. Speaking about engineering, moving over to the Star Wars AT-AT, or I don't know what they're called, but that is very impressive.
Is that hooked up to a light post?
No, it looks like he's got some big support beams in there somewhere, just keeping. They look like big popsicle sticks.
Yeah. I don't know where you buy those, but okay.
Next is the House of 3,000 Pumpkins.
Wow,
yeah,
that's cool.
This is very impressive. That is just a ton of pumpkins, and man, lighting those things up. I'm hoping that's on batteries or something, because that has a lot of candles to light and keep lit. But apparently, this used to be the guy used to be the mayor.
Oh, really?
Town. Yeah, and that's what he does at his house every year. Full-grown Transformers. This is super impressive. We had a friend send us some costumes that they saw kids going around with in the Transformers costumes. Yeah. Very impressive. I don't know if it was an Instagram thing or somebody that he knew.
I think it might have been, yeah.
But wow. This is above and beyond.
Yeah. I
don't think anybody's decorating their house like that. Talking about the houses that you don't like.
This is creepy.
This is so creepy. Yeah. Ghouls and Dolls, it's titled. And if our neighbor did this, and I went out in the morning or I went out at night taking out the garbage or something, I would lose it.
But doesn't it remind you, there are houses downtown. I don't know if you've ever come across them. On some of the side streets, I know for sure there's a couple in the West End. Yeah. And there's at least one in the East End. And they have just like these crazy collections of all these like toys and stuff. And they got stuff nailed to their fences. Have you ever seen them?
I haven't seen it.
They're so weird.
I'm sure there's some in the East End year round though.
No, I'm talking about year round. Same with the West End. And they have it's all the time. They have these crazy collections of like dolls and toys and garden stuff. And it's like, I don't know, I couldn't imagine living next to it, but they're like known spots. People go to see them.
Yeah, I'd be cool for, you know, the week or two before Halloween, maybe. This dolls thing.
No,
is
I don't
just,
like dolls like that though. They're creepy.
I don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't like
they
it
remind me of all those scary movies.
This one a little bit more traditional. I'm okay with this. This is simple. You know, go out and purchase or make a bunch of these things, put them all over the house. A lot of work, but nothing too over the top. Yeah. The only thing I don't like is, I don't know if the horror movie was called Arachnid or something like that.
Arachnophobia.
I saw it when I was a kid. I was too young to watch it.
Yeah,
and
me too, actually.
the spiders coming, they freaked me out for the longest time. Like, I think the classic shot was like the big spider came over the girl in the shower. Oh my god! And in the barn. That one.
No, spiders in general. That one just makes my skin crawl.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good one.
Yeah, the UFO
one.
Yeah, again, good arts and crafts stuff they got going on here. A little woodworking maybe. I think it looks cool, nice and simple, not too over the top. And so, anyways, that's a good collection of homes being dressed up for the holidays.
Yeah, and you can start working on it now and
get
ready for next year. And then you can send us your pictures.
Yeah. We want to see, but in general, I think I love that neighborhoods and communities that get into the spirit of these things. Yeah. I feel bad that we didn't do it yesterday because we had volleyball, but it is what it is. Yeah. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think this is the first year we've missed, right? Yeah. So our neighbors know to come to our house too now.
Yeah, with all the candy. Yeah, that gives away all the
kids
candy.
always show up. But what are you gonna do? One of those years. So.
Yeah, and it's public now that we don't like our neighbors' lights. If you're watching.
Don't tell them.
Don't tell them. Anyways, that's our show for today. We really hope you enjoyed it. And
that's it. As usual, the links will be down below, so you can check out, the book if you want to. And check out
give it to somebody as a Christmas gift.
And check out, the other pictures or some other information on the decorating the houses. We're always coming out to you Tuesdays and Thursday mornings, so don't forget to subscribe so you make sure you don't miss any future episodes. As always, your comments, your feedback, we love it. So please share with us. Let us know what you thought. If you have anything to add.
If you want us to cover a topic, anything like that.
Yeah, if you want us to cover a topic that we haven't covered yet, please let us know. We would love to do that for you. Other than that, thank you so much for coming out. And even though it's a day late, happy Halloween.